Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Halloween Cup, as the Halloween Cup going to be available at the 15th of October. Going to be there for like 3 weeks nearly, until the 2nd of November. It's kind of starting mid-season. So like the Super League starts at the 11th of October, while we have to wait then 4 days again for the Halloween Cup, which I think is pretty cool actually. I don't really mind that they start with the cups in the middle of one session, because it kind of gives you a new thing that you can play, a bit more of a new meta, which is really cool. And in general, the Halloween Cup has a really nice meta. I'm really looking forward to playing this. We already had the same meta basically in the last season, which was also a really cool cup, but a lot of things changed. We had a poison type update, which really helped a lot in this cup, as poison types are one of the Pokemon that are allowed, other than like Bug, Ghost, Dark, and Fairy. And in general, like, the meta looks very interesting now. We have XL Pokemon now new in that, which was also not the case back in the day. And yeah, let's take a look at the 15 best Pokemon and also some teams. I think I have like 5 or 6 teams prepared for you. The first 5 Pokemon I'm going to showcase now are like basically the core meta, and then I'm going to showcase 5 Pokemon that are basically the advanced meta, which you're also going to see a lot. And then I'm going to give you some sleeper picks, which you might not expect really. And yeah, we're gonna start in with Azumarill, of course. Azumarill is allowed, Fairy types are allowed. And every time an Azumarill is allowed, Azumarill is gonna be really high up, because it's just the bulkiest Pokemon really out there with a really good moveset. And you kinda want to play Rough and Ice Beam here, because you don't really have a lot of steel types in the meta. So you basically, you have near coverage against everything. It's a really good Pokemon. You can use it as XL, but you don't have to use it in XL. But yeah, what do you have to tell you about Azumarill? You should have known that already. That thing has been in the meta basically since the first season of Go Battle League, and that's still gonna be there. Next time we're gonna have Jellicent. Jellicent is a thing that you basically see in every meta right now. You see it in Neutral League, you see it in Great League. It's always gonna be good, super good, bulky Pokemon with a good amount of moves. You have Ice Beam as an option, you have Shadow Ball as an option, you have Bubble Beam as an option. And here they say you should run Bubble because of the NiRiain, or like Fire types. In general, Bubble does a bit more damage than Hex, but generates energy a bit slower. And it kind of only gets beaten here by Dark types and Garvantula, and that's basically it. And yeah, this thing has amazing stats, and in general looks like one of the best Pokemon in the meta. You're gonna see that all over the place, like everyone gonna use this Pokemon, definitely. You're gonna see that everywhere. Next up, we're gonna have a NiDoQueen, also a Pokemon that is like basically viable since it got Poison Fang and got the boost for Poison Jab. It's like nearly everywhere in every meta again. Basically like the Jellicent before, but this time around, you're gonna see it already maybe. You're gonna run Stone Edge on this thing. You don't really have a lot of steel types, and all those steel types that you have are part bug type right now. So there's literally no reason for you to run Earth Power. And Stone Edge gives you coverage against something like Mandibuzz or Golbat, and you can just one-shot those, or like in general do a lot of damage. And this is like really amazing. Like, I think you definitely should try to run Stone Edge on this thing. It's way better than the Earth Power. That's something that a lot of people might not expect, especially in the beginning, because most people think, okay, yeah, there's also always gonna run Poison Fang and Earth Power, so why would I shield against this thing with my Golbat? Next up, we're gonna have Frostus. Frostus is a bit lower ranked than I actually expected on Poke, but this thing nearly has no good answer, other than maybe like Umbreon. And yeah, other than that, like, this thing is such a good save swap. You saw that last time when we played Halloween Cup everywhere. This thing was really amazing, and it's always amazing when it's basically available in the meta. Just as Powder Snow, which generates energy fast. We have Shadow Ball, which hurts like a lot, and Avalanche as a Psystrike Cloud, and you all know from Master League how good Psystrike is on Mewtwo. So this thing is amazing. It can deal with poison types. It has most of the time even super effective moves there against NiDoQueen and against Golbat, for example, which are the most common poison types, and can even deal with a Azumarill if you land the Shadow Ball, which is pretty decent. And to the 5th Pokemon, which I would say is like core meta, is gonna be Mandibuzz. Here actually they say you want to run Air Slash. You can decide if you want to run Air Slash and or Snarl. Both of them are fine in my opinion. Like, really comes up to you. But this thing you're gonna see everywhere again. Yeah, it's basically the only real good answer against the Jellicent, so of course you're gonna see that thing. Only really does to Azumarill. Other than that, it nearly only has neutral matchups, or like pretty good matchups for itself. So this thing is like so easy and viable and like really, really good. So yeah, you're definitely gonna see that a lot, and you definitely have to be prepared for that as well. But there are now some other Pokemon that I think gonna be also in the meta, but maybe not as common as those 5 I already showed now. Next up, we're gonna have a Pokemon that's also really easy to get is Golbat. Golbat has only 10k for the second shot move as an unlock, and is really, really good now, like especially in this meta. Actually getting ranked at rank 2, which I think is a bit too high though. I don't think it's like a really rank 2, but it's gonna be really, really good. Like nonetheless, it's gonna be such a good Pokemon in the meta. There's a lot of really, really neutral matchups, and just Wing Attack and Poison Fang together is such a good combination, because you can just debuff the whole time your opponent Wing Attack does quite decent damage. So yeah, this thing gonna be amazing. It's easy to get, and you might have already have that. If it's Shadow or not, doesn't really matter. Both of them are really, really good and viable, and this thing gonna be definitely meta. Next up, we're gonna have Sableye. Very interesting how this thing gonna be in this meta. I'm curious. It's like only rank 20, which is usually a bit lower than you might expect for such a good Pokemon as Sableye. So we have a lot of fairy types in the league. And I don't know how it's going to perform, but it at least like is able to resist poison typing, which is pretty decent, and has a lot of coverage. And in general, most likely a really good save swap unless your opponent runs a Charmer in the back. Gonna be interesting how this thing gonna be. But yeah, if you have one, you definitely should try that out. I think it's gonna be a really good save swap again, or like even in the lead, it's gonna be really good. Next up, we're gonna go a little bit with the Wigglytuff, because Wigglytuff gonna be a really good charm user in this meta. You can also try Alone Ninetales with charm, but like Wigglytuff is pretty decent, especially because of the normal typing as well. Being able to resist ghost typing basically makes it to a hard wall for Jellicent, which is nice. And also is like really good against Sableye if you see that a lot in the meta. They're completely destroying every fighting type or the dark types anyway, so you should actually definitely go for that thing. It's only 10k for the second move as well. It is such a good charm user and like very easily to get anyway, so you most likely have one already. Your Wigglytuff gonna be really good, and you're most likely gonna see a lot of them because charm is always really hyped and loved by everybody, so everybody uses that anyway. Speaking of the Ninetales, we have Ninetales here as the next Pokemon that you definitely should take a look at, especially like with Powder Snow. That's why I kind of said, yeah, you can use Charm, but I don't think Charm gonna be the best move. Powder Snow most likely is a bit better, as it gives you more energy generation, is good against the Nidoqueen and the Golbat. So basically your hardest counters, you can kind of actually deal with them, and you can actually beat them, which is pretty sick. And yeah, Powder Snow and Weather Ball really good together. Also Pokemon I think is new to the meta. I don't think Weather Ball got boosted before. I think that was like after the last Halloween Cup, so this thing is basically kind of new. And in general, yeah, this is just a very simple, easy, good Pokemon that you can use. Powder Snow is always going to be good. I don't think there's a big counter to this Pokemon other than Marowak, so definitely a really good Pokemon to use. Next up, we're going to have Umbreon as the last real meta pick. Of course, Umbreon going to be basically like a Mandibuzz. I think it's even a bit bulkier than Mandibuzz, and you get easier, better AVs for that thing anyway, so yeah, it's pretty similar to Mandibuzz. I think in this meta it might be even better sometimes. In the lead, I think Umbreon is a bit better than Mandibuzz, but maybe as a save swap it is not, or in the back. But this thing basically does 2 charm users, and other than that, you basically have coverage or anything against everything there. You could argue of running Psychic because of all the poison types, but I don't think it's really necessary, and in general gonna give you a worse matchup against other dark types, which you're definitely gonna encounter, so I guess still last resort gonna be the better move. But if you want to play Psychic might be a bit interesting against all the poison types in the meta. The first more like not common pick gonna be Scizor as a core breaker. Scizor is actually one of the coolest Pokemon you can use right now in this meta, because you have Bullet Punch. It's basically the only steel type that can really have steel type moves as well that are threatening to those ice types like Frostless or Ninetales. In general, steel type resists poison type moves, which is pretty decent, and it has basically no hard counter other than like maybe a Fire Fang Mawile or something like this. But if you get some energy on this thing, it can even beat something like the Jellicent or all the other ghost types in general. Like it has so much potential. I think this thing gonna be really amazing. I'm definitely gonna try that out. If a really good scissor I can build, and especially shadow scissor. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to use this thing. I think this thing is really amazing. I'm also gonna have a team with this later on, and yeah, this thing is something that a lot of people most likely don't have in mind, but this thing gonna be amazing. In the next spot, we're gonna have 2 Pokemon. Actually, that's why I was like kinda, it has like 15 or 16 Pokemon featured in this video, but we're gonna have the Alolan Grimer XL version, a bit difficult to get, very expensive. So if you don't have that, okay, that's alright. Of course, this thing is really amazing as it breaks a lot of the cores. Like you see what it beats: Azumarill, Mandibuzz, Umbreon, Ninetales, Marek. It has coverage against nearly everything, and this thing is amazing. But if you don't really have the Stardust and you're only really looking for a cheap version, or you're not level 50 already, you can also use Skuntank. Skuntank have the same typing, has pretty similar moves. I think actually the same moves as well if you want to, but here they say you want to run a Flamethrower, which I mean you can run. You can also just run Sludge Bomb. But yeah, this thing is basically the same, but a bit less bulky. And yeah, they kind of do the same thing, but yeah, I don't know. Like the Grimer is a bit more fun, looks a bit more funny, and it's definitely really, really good. But Skuntank is still a viable option. And if you don't want to waste your Stardust on the Grimer, Skuntank is definitely viable as well. Next up, we're gonna have Wormadam again. Actually, you can use it as an XL, but you don't really have to. It doesn't really matter too much. It's 10k for the second charge move, which is always nice. But here you see this thing is basically like Scissor, but a bit more bulky, but also not as like threatening attack-wise. So. But this thing is pretty decent, can counter all the steel types, not the steel type, the poison types of course. It has like good coverage against the All Matter. And you can actually decide if you want to run either the Bug Bite as a quick move or Confusion. Usually Confusion is like the most common moveset there, but Bug Bite is actually pretty decent. You only really lose out with the Bug Bite against the Golbat. Other than that, like you beat the Dark types way easier with Bug Bite than with Confusion, of course, which gives actually a lot of play. I don't know if I want to run Bug Bite or Confusion. I definitely kind of want to run this thing. And yeah, very interesting Pokemon. Bug Bite looks actually so much fun. Like, I don't know, it's such a weird move that I really enjoy. So yeah, let's see. But this thing is definitely going to be amazing, and you definitely, if you have one, try it out. The second to last Pokemon gonna be Qwilfish. Qwilfish is also actually ranked really high, but not really that common usually during those metas. But Qwilfish is really, really cool. Got basically also boosted with the Poison boost, because Poison Sting basically got a Mudshot clone now, and you know how strong Mudshot is. So yeah, it has Poison Sting, Awkward Tail also really good. And Ice Beam, you can also run Sludge Rave, I think, if you want to have like a really nice finishing move from the same type. But yeah, here they recommend Ice Beam for stuff like Mandibuzz, which I can see for Golbat, so I think Ice Beam is a bit better anyway. But this thing is really good, especially as a safe swap in my opinion, because if you get some extra energy with the Poison Sting, the thing nearly beats everything in the meta, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's just so spammy, and it's just such a good Pokemon in general, and not as really like overrated. And I actually have this thing as well, so I'm definitely gonna try that out as well. The last Pokemon, a bit lower rated as well, gonna be XL Dustoise. This thing is just more for fun, but I think this is the meta where it can shine. It has access to Confusion, Sludge Bomb, and Bug Burst. If you push that to level 50, it's like at 1400 around there, a bit lower than that, I think. Like, looks like kind of awkward in the beginning, but this thing is basically bulky as an Azumarill. It has a really good move coverage here as well. It's really an interesting one. I definitely want to try that out. I don't know if I can because of Stardust, but like I have a 100% one and enough XL candy, so yeah, you want definitely a 100% Dustox. But this thing has like his play here right now. I think it's a really good Pokemon, and maybe I try it out. I have to see. But let's go into the teams. I'm actually hyped for the teams because I have a lot of cool teams around here as well. First one gonna be a really meta team. We have Jason in the lead, we have Wigglytuff in the back, and we have Golbat as a safe swap. Pretty simple team. Jellicent doesn't really want to face any dark types. We have basically a Golbat which can do anything against everything. Like, it's just a really viable safe swap. You can use other safe swaps there as well. I think Golbat is just pretty safe. And we have the Wigglytuff in the back, which can counter all those dark types which Jellicent doesn't want to see, and basically gives everything what Jellicent doesn't really want to see. Wigglytuff beats, vice versa. So it's just a really good combination. Like, if you want to run Jellicent, I think you should try to run Wigglytuff with it. Doesn't matter if you want to run it in the back or in the lead. Like, then just swap them around, but I think that's like such a good pairing, and you have Golbert, which is just a good safe swap. Yeah, a very, very simple team, which is really, really good, and definitely a good team to use. A bit more exciting gonna be Team 2, which has Shadow Scissor in the lead, and we have Umbreon in the back. We're gonna use it as a closer here, and we have the Azumarill in the safe swap position. I think Azumarill as a safe swap is pretty decent. Yeah, we have a poison type meta, but you basically have answers against every poison type, because like, yeah, we have Golbert, we have Ice Beam, we have Nidoqueen, we have Bubble, and we have Ice Beam. Yeah, basically you have a good answer against most of them, and I think Azumarill as swap is definitely a pretty solid in this meta right now. Shadow Scissor needs all the shields, so we have like 2 Pokemon in the back that are really bulky and don't really need shields at all. So I think this team like does make a lot of sense, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to play. It might be the first team I'm gonna play, but yeah, this team looks like a lot of fun, to be honest. Team 3 gonna be Azumarill, Wormadam, Trash, and Frost as a safe swap. I kinda wanted to build a team around Frost as a safe swap. And yeah, main goal here is you have Azumarill as a water type in the lead. You have Frost as a safe swap, which is an ice type, and if they run like some fire type in form like Mawile or like the, what's it called, a Lone Marowak, you kind of want to get this out so your Wormadam, Trash in the back can basically run free without having any issues with that, as well as you have Azumarill, which counters the dark types, while you have Frostless, which also basically gets the dark types out of there, and once they have them against each other, and then you basically don't have the dark type for the confusion user Wormadam in the back anymore. So I think that's a really good coverage team. You see like some Pokemon that completely beat this team, but they don't really do that really if you think about that. Like alone, like okay, yeah, against Frostless it goes toe to toe, against Wormadam, Trash is go toe to toe. This is like the one shield scenario, and this doesn't really mean anything at all. So yeah, against most of the Pokemon you can definitely do something. And yeah, here I run Wormadam, Trash with Confusion instead of Bug Bite. But yeah, I think that's a really cool team. For Team 4, we actually have 2 teams, so yeah, that's well, so like 5 to 6 teams. We have the Nidoqueen Double Dark line, which is always common in like even normal Great League. But here we have like access to Nidoqueen, we have dark types like Sableye, like the Mandibules, like Umbreon, like whatever you want. You even have access to Scrafty and Obstagoon if you want to use them, even though I don't think they have a really lot of play there, because it's not really a fighting type like meta, because you have a Charmer, you have poison types, you have ghost types, you don't really want to use fighting types. So yeah, I think this team looks really, really solid still. I think this is definitely really good. And another version of this team would be the Dark Double Poison team, which is basically the same scenario. Again, like Dark and Poison are really good typings together. So yeah, basically you run Umbreon in the lead. I think Umbreon is better than the Mandibules here. You have Golbert as a safe swap, and you have Nidoqueen in the back. Basically, yeah, like it's just really does make sense as a team. You have a Lone Nighthawk, which kind of beats this, but also not really, because it cannot beat every other Pokemon. And other than that, yeah, Mawile beats it, but also not really. Like everything is like kind of would lose against the whole team as an effort. So I think this is also a really, really good team that you can run together. And the last team for you Poké fanboys out there, we have a Mawile team, his favorite Pokemon. So yeah, we have Mawile, we have Jellicent, we have Golbert. Golbert is a safe swap, Jellicent in the back, pretty simple team again. Should be pretty solid. Mawile has a lot of potential in this league. Might also try that out. I have a good Shadow Mawile, but I also have a normal Mawile. It seems like normal Mawile has a bit more play because of the bulk, but you basically beat something like the poison types because of the steel typing, and you have like good access to, with it, like the fire thing, you can just destroy Frostless, Fortress, Wormadam, Trash, stuff like this. Definitely like Mawile has a lot of potential to break the meta here again. Actually got ranked really high as well, which is cool. But yeah, this is definitely a really solid team again. But thanks all for watching. If you are still watching at this point, it's most likely a bit longer video because we have 15 Pokemon, or like 16 Pokemon, 6 teams actually. So yeah, it's gonna take a while, but yeah. Thanks for watching. If you leave a like, I would appreciate that, as it helps me way more out than you expect. And if you haven't subbed already, it's always free. You can always decide later if you still want to be subbed or not. And yeah, this is gonna be it for the video. Thanks all for watching. Good luck in Halloween Cup, and see ya.